Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and we've got an exciting show for you this week. Jordan and I just got back from the UP where we spent the day in a pike spearing shack. You won't want to miss that, but before we get to that, Jimmy has an exciting adventure for us.
Well, Jenny, I have to say I am pretty excited to see your UP spearing story. That looked like a lot of fun. We're also going to do a little coyote hunting on this week's show, chasing him with the big hounds. That's always a crazy kind of hunt. And we'll stop in at a traditional archery event that happened here in the state of Michigan as well. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Vanguard, a global manufacturer based in Michigan featuring rifle scopes, binoculars, and spotting scopes with lifetime warranties. Vanguard supplies sporting optics and accessories for the outdoor enthusiast, online at vanguardworld.com.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and we kick off this week's show in the UP. After weeks of warm weather down here in southern Michigan, Jenny and I decided to head north of the bridge to do a little pike spearing in Iron County.
Okay, we are in south central Iron County in UP of Michigan. A little lake that's got a little bit of everything. We hope to see some decent pike today. Should see some small ones, maybe some walleyes, a lot of panfish, hopefully, and some bass.
Today I would be sitting with Mike Kitt, while Jenny sat in a different shanty a few hundred yards away, hoping to increase our chances of getting a pike speared on camera. Mike has been spearing for quite some time and also carves his own decoys. While we waited for the first fish, he filled me in on how his love for spearing all got started.
This is my 30th year of spearing pike. I was originally taught the sport by an old Michigan conservation officer and really developed a passion for the sport. We just used spoons back then, didn't really carve, but I rekindled an old relationship with another old Michigan conservation officer who taught me how to carve decoys, and that kind of brought the whole thing together. Made it more of a year-round sport. I carved decoys through the summer, fall months, and then I used them all winter in the spearing hole. The thing I like about spearing is it's a challenge. People have a preconceived notion about spearing that it's easy. We spear only big fish. That couldn't be farther from the truth. You have to put a lot of time in if you want to be successful at this sport. But what appeals to me the most is the visual aspect of it. You get to watch fish be fish and do what they do. We see a lot of other fish in the hole besides northern pike. I see panfish, bass, walleyes, a little bit of everything. And it never gets old. I see 100, 200 fish a year. I only harvest a couple. The fun I derive from it is watching the fish be fish.
Well, we were seeing plenty of fish and even had a couple of legal pike that just didn't quite make it into the hole. Meanwhile, Jenny was also having some luck on another portion of the lake.
Well, we just got set up, got the shack up, and now we're going to try and spear pike.
All right. Have you done much spearing on this lake?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. Been out here a couple times already this year, and we've got a couple. So.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how deep we're fishing. And
We're in 9 feet of water right now. We got weeds about halfway up, so it should be good pike habitat. Well, it's not like any other kind of fishing. You can stare down the hole and you not see a fish all day, but then once you do, it makes everything worth it really. Once you get to see the fish come in and smack the decoy, or just watching the fish makes it really cool compared to sitting outside watching tip ups, and you might not see anything all day like that doing that too, but at least here we're watching panfish and bass, and you got a chance to see something really cool. Then you got the challenge of having to hit one with a spear, and for some people it's easier than others, but it's pretty difficult to do. So it makes it a little challenge, makes it fun.
As luck would have it, the one shanty we didn't have a camera in was the first to connect on a pike, but Jenny was able to make her way over there as Zach's father Dave pulled a nice pike through the ice.
all right. Wow, that's a nice one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What do we got here?
This is a decoy I found last night in my stuff, and it was made by my son in '07.
Wow.
Yeah, a few
That's
years ago,
cool.
and he's in the Air Force right now and deployed, and can't even be with us today or this winter, so that was really cool.
That is awesome. So how did it happen pretty quick?
It did. He came in right between my feet and came right to the decoy and started to leave just as I threw the spear.
Oh man,
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, what have you been seeing down there today?
Seeing a lot of small fish, a lot of them right real close to that 24 and just smaller. So seen some bass and bluegill and seen a little bit of everything. But this is the first one that was big enough.
Nice.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
With one pike on the ice, Mike and I continued to patiently wait, hoping we would be next. But at the same time, we were just enjoying the sheer number of fish we were seeing and the interaction with the decoys.
The first 10 years I speared, I didn't use decoys. We mainly used spoons. I had tried making a couple decoys, but I wasn't any good at it. Then I received the proper tutelage from somebody who really knew what they were doing. Mike Holmes, who's the president of the Michigan Dark House Anglers Association, gave me a lot of tough love in the beginning, but I became a much better carver, and that opened up a whole new world for me in pike spearing. I equate it with a fly fisherman that ties his own flies and derives a great amount of satisfaction from having a trout bite something that he made himself. Same way with making decoys. I really get a lot of satisfaction from watching a pike hit one of the decoys that I made myself. In my life, I bought one commercially made decoy, and I only swam it once. It swam horribly, and that's when I decided I needed to make my own. And since then, I've had a lot of pleasure making this a year-round sport.
Nice toss.
Well, we got to talking, as spearers will, and he come in like a flash, grabbed the decoy, and by the time I got the spear ready, he was already on his way out of the hole. So it was Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary. When I started spearing, I quickly realized that if we wanted to preserve this sport, we were going to have to get other people involved. We have to show this sport to the rest of the sporting community, and show them just how much fun it really can be. We're constantly losing people every year in hunting and fishing. They're losing interest. This is a sport the entire family can participate in and enjoy themselves and still spend quality time outdoors. I would strongly encourage people to seek out clubs that are available. I've been a board member of the Michigan Dark House Anglers Association for a number of years. One of the things we do is try to promote our sport and preserve what we have. We have some really good people out there that are very concerned about this. They practice good conservation. They only take a few fish. When you manage a species properly, method of take does not matter. We only take a few to eat. The rest are fun just watching, and we practice what's called look and release, where if we decide not to harvest a fish, we merely let it swim away. There's no incidental hooking mortality. That fish is free to swim another day. And that's the other beauty of this sport. We only harvest what we decide we're going to harvest.
There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to pike spearing, and it was nice to spend a day on the ice with someone so knowledgeable about the sport. There's certainly a lot more that goes into it than most people realize. We ended the day with 2 pike and dozens of other encounters. Special thanks to Mike, Dave, and Zach for a great day on the hard water here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
One thing we try to do every year here at Michigan Out of Doors is bring you a good coyote hunt. Well, that's easier said than done. Whether you're calling or running them with dogs, it is very hard to capture them on tape. Well, I just was out with some friends recently, and you know what? We did pretty good on a day where we weren't really expecting much. Trying to get a coyote hunt on tape is one of the hardest things we try to do each year. And with bad weather setting in, we had our work cut out for us today as Jim Kelly got ready to drop his dogs.
There's 3 tracks going in here. Looks like this is a good sized one here, so we're gonna try to dump in here and get the ball rolling.
All right. Boy, those do look big.
Yeah, they're good size. We knocked it out.
Since we had what looked like a decent track, and it was our only one, the guys decided to drop the dogs on this trail and see what happens. Now, fresh snow is always the best for finding fresh tracks, but Mother Nature wasn't cooperating today.
The ideal weather conditions for something like this is 8 inches of nice fresh powdered snow.
Okay.
With a night, where it doesn't snow throughout the night, where you got a full night of movement.
Okay.
For where, it's easier to find their tracks in the morning.
Okay. So we're trying to cut tracks and kind of keep them in a section then? Is that
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The whole goal is to cut a track, to get the dogs in, get it jumped, surround the section, try to keep the coyote in the section, and then send a couple guys in so that they can go in and get a couple cracks at it. Well, I would say there's no coyotes in there. Pretty safe assumption. That's what I would say. So that was a dud, but
that's too bad. Well, keep looking.
We'll go try another spot. Yeah.
So with nothing to show for our first spot, we headed to a location where the guys have run coyotes before. This was not the ideal way to do it, but it was our only option.
We're gonna go in. We don't have any tracks. Conditions are brutal, as we know. And we're just gonna go in, see if we can bump something off its bed and get a good race going.
Okay, so we're gonna post up a few guys.
Yep, gonna send 3 guys in the woods, and we're gonna get all the way around here and just start moving through the woods and find where they are.
So 3 of the guys went into the woods to listen and see if the dogs jumped a coyote. Well, you know what? They did, and it ran right past Jay Van Dyke, who happened to have his GoPro on. He captured some cool footage, but a running coyote in the trees, well, it's a hard shot. So with the coyote now jumped, the dogs were on a fresh trail, and Dan now had to decide where to be to try and intersect the coyote.
Usually, these are going to circle going east because that's where the cover is, and then at some point he's going to pop out. Typically they come out in the open here, but we'll see.
As the dog chased one coyote, a second popped out in a field the guys could not hunt, so we left him alone till later, and we tried to get into position on the coyote the dogs were running. Now, the guys have no shells in the chamber of their guns and did do quite a bit of running to get into position. I was perched on top of a hill and tried to get what footage I could of the running coyote as he made his way through an orchard and was headed right to where we had some guys posted. Well, it appeared we had pulled it off. Dan and the boys had at least one guy in position, and the coyote ran right to him. The dogs had done a great job.
We saw it way up in the orchard coming down, and Danny came up on the hill here and plunked it right by the pine trees there, but it ran out in the ice. And the dog came with it.
Had to give the old killing shot.
Yeah.
Well, that was some good running by your guys to get up to the top of the hill there. That was exciting. I could see him coming all the way across.
Could ya?
I could see you running up. I couldn't see where you were, but then I heard the shots. I was like, oh boy. I knew as soon as you crested this hill, you'd be right on top of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the things you see when you're in the outdoors just make you laugh, like this. We thought for sure that Jim would go through the ice, but he didn't, even though I think all of us hoped that he would. So we had one in the bag. Now, since we knew where one more coyote was, and since it was now off the ground that they couldn't hunt and on property they did have permission to be on, we got the guys around that section, and the chase would soon be on again.
Try and see if we can get over there?
Yeah, let's go. Try to get to that dead end road. Do you think where we went in? You think that's not a problem?
So we were back at it. As we got around to the area the dogs were headed, we could hear some shooting. Now, we couldn't see what was going on, but Jay had his GoPro rolling again and captured some great footage of the coyote. What's going on, Jim?
Just chaos. Just having a good time running coyotes. We got them going all over the place here. We've seen this one probably, I don't know, multiple times now, and just don't seem to be able to get bullet placement.
We had probably 4 or 5 trucks full of folks helping us out today. Only 3 guys in the woods with guns, and everyone felt really a part of the hunt today.
Well, the dogs did pretty good,
yeah,
didn't they?
Yeah, they did a nice job.
They were running them all day.
Yeah, we've had some good races here, especially with the rain and snow and these terrible conditions. They really came through for us.
Yes, they did.
I thought you guys killed it. I was walking out of the woods. It ran right to you? Yeah.
Look how dark that one is, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, it is.
A lot different than the other one.
We really weren't expecting much today, but I think the guys were just thrilled that we actually went and had a great day to boot.
Yeah, we had little hope this morning as we woke up to a rainfall. It switched over to a little bit of snow and then rain and then snow, but been pretty blessed. We got in where there's some coyotes and the dogs got them up and did their job. Got a good run in. Got 2 of them now. Any day you get 2 coyotes out to help the deer hunters out is a good day. So.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing we had some young legs out there.
Yeah, we're definitely blessed to have some young kids. They hopefully will realize how lucky they are to be young.
Coyote hunting with hounds is hard to do. It takes a lot of effort, but is also a lot of fun. The coyote population is so high here in Michigan, we as sportsmen should say a big thank you to all the coyote hunters and trappers here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Well, it seems like in the world of archery, it gets more and more advanced every year. The more bows come out, the more high-tech they are. Well, you don't always have to go high-tech. In fact, a lot of people are going low-tech, and traditional archery seems to be on the rise.
About a month after bow season ends, most of us are staving off a case of cabin fever. The traditional Bow Hunters Expo in Kalamazoo is a chance for bow hunters from around the country to meet and swap stories of the last hunting season and start preparations for this coming fall. Jerry Brum and his wife have been putting the show together now for 2 decades and look forward to seeing old friends each year.
This is the 20th year of doing this expo. And we started it, it was in Hastings for 3 years at the Expo Center. And we moved it to here because we ran out of room. And 3 years ago, they added this beautiful new hall, so we're right in our glory. We've got more room than we know what to do with. So yeah, it's all traditional, long bows, recurves. There's been more hunts, that have been planned and more friendships made here, and Sharon and I are really proud of that we brought together. It's taken on an identity of its own. If you ask somebody, are you going to Kalamazoo? That's all they got to say. They know that it's this expo, this weekend, and yeah, so it's taken on a life of its own, and it's great.
Even if you aren't a traditional bow hunter, it's hard to walk through this expo without seeing the beauty of traditional bows. The dedication to their craft shows in the countless different designs. Although they might look like a simple stick and string, there are countless hours refining what goes into making a good performing longbow or recurve. Part of the allure of hunting with a traditional bow is to walk in the footsteps of great hunters in history. Bill Hinckley brought his display to the expo and showed me some of the arrows used by some of the more famous names in the last century.
These are some Art Young heads. This arrow here is the last dozen arrows that Art Young had made. He made it for Dr. Paul Knopstead. And these up in here now, these are all, you got Wes Bundell and Elmo Bundell. You got Norm Blaker, and Floyd Eccleston had a shop in Michigan in the museum, and that's where a lot of these came from. Bob Kelly was Fred Bear's right-hand man. Erwin Kessler was a 5-time NAA champ. That's his arrow.
Although there's a lot of interesting historical displays, many archers are here to buy products for hunting today. There's hundreds of bows available for sale, both new and used. One company that has just moved here to Michigan is Selway Archery's quiver business. This company has been making high-quality traditional supplies for many years.
We have limb bolt quivers for takedowns. We have strap-on quivers for anyone who wants just one quiver for every bow. We have slide-on quivers, for the guy who wants to put the quiver on the bow and leave it on the bow, which that's what I do myself. My quiver's been on my bow for probably 10 years and hasn't even come off. We got side mount quivers for bows that have the holes tapped and drilled. We got the quick detach, which pop on and off. You can interchange them from bow to bow, whichever, some guys only want one quiver, and those work for that. We hand make these. This is not a production piece. This is something that a piece of us goes into every quiver that we make.
Besides actual bow accessories, there are all sorts of gear to see, from haversacks to knives, and even some caps to keep your ears warm in the woods.
This is a 2-track coup cap. We started making this just over a year ago. 100% felted wool, just like all of our products, all of our wool products. And it's really becoming a favorite for the bow hunter. Well, the first thing is, being a bow hunter, I made it with a short bill. And all the wool that we use comes right off the backs of our own sheep. We start with the live animal. We take the raw fleece up to Zeinlingers and we get it cleaned and batted up there. Once we bring the batting back into the shop, we lay it up and we make our own material. Once the material's made, then we cut and sew the parts.
And what Bow Hunter Expo would be complete without seeing what animals Bill Yoder brought along.
Who's this, Bill? This is Cosmo. He's be 3 years old in May, weighs about 45 pounds. I've had him since 3 weeks old.
Yeah?
And he's quite a boy.
Is he a lap kitty or what's he?
Well, he has his days when he's a lap kitty. Otherwise, you just leave him alone, let him play where he wants. It takes about 3.5 years for the frame to fill out. Like a deer takes 5 years, and then he'll start bulking up a little more. He could get up around 50 pounds of what he eats. Half a chicken in the morning, bones and all, and cut up venison at night, and muskrats that are skinned out. He lives pretty good.
If you've never been out to Kalamazoo for the Traditional Bowhunters Expo, be sure to mark your calendar for the last weekend in January. It's one of the most interesting shows you'll find here in Michigan.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online when you get a chance. You can do it a couple of different ways on our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com or on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV. We're usually on there every few days letting you know where we are and where we're headed next. And we do have a lot of exciting stuff coming up for you yet this winter.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Lots of good stuff happening here over the next few weeks. We're going to have some more adventures from the Upper Peninsula. We're also going to be doing a little bit more coyote hunting and a little bit more ice fishing. Lots of good stuff happening. And of course, Outdoorama is right around the corner. That's just a few weeks away. That's going to be in Novi. We're going to be taping one of our big buck nights there. You won't want to miss that. Come on down. Our friends at Vanguard are going to be helping us out. They have some great prize packages for that night as well. So lots of good stuff happening over the next couple of weeks here in Michigan Out of Doors. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by the Michigan chapters of Safari Club International. For over 40 years, SCI has been protecting hunters' rights and promoting wildlife conservation here in Michigan and around the world. SCI chapter locations can be found on the web at firstformichigan.org. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including Outdoorama February 25th through 28th at Novi Suburban Showplace. The show features tackle, trips, boats, outfitters, wildlife encounters, and of course, Big Buck Night. That's Outdoorama in Novi, February 25th through 28th. By Eagle Claw Chappelle, offering a line of pop-up and flip-over shelters and the new cabin-style Bay Runner 2. Chappelle also offers a selection of sleds, including the new winter camo pattern jet sled. Eagle Claw Chappelle, we have you covered. On the web at chappelle.com. Closed captioning is provided by the Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man.